that's happening. And then I'm going to click record, and E, go ahead and click record on your um, recording thingy,
Recording on my recording thingy.
to use the
Action.
technical term. And when you're ready, we will do the thing. Are you recording?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's do
Oh,
this.
you were waiting for me. I'm sorry.
No worries. It's
Okay.
very, we're just chilling. All right, let's do this. Hi, Teak.
Hi,
Hi, how
Tiq.
are you? Hi,
Um,
folks.
oh, it's so good to have you.
Yeah, so good to see your faces.
Teak,
So
you're
good
like
to
a
meet you.
yes,
Yeah, you too.
yes. E and
You.
Teak are just meeting. I
Yeah.
have two of some of my favorite people right here that it's like such a breath of fresh air. I
Yeah.
love you guys. I was just telling E, and I was just telling Teak that the first time we interviewed Teak, I had no idea that Teak packed so much amazing information into every single sentence. And then when I had to go back and re-listen when we were writing the book, I realized, holy shit, he said so many profound things in his little 50-minute episode. So I am super, super excited. I'm super excited
Yeah.
to have you back.
I'm excited to be here. I talk fast, so try to pack it in there.
You do. You pack in a punch. You pack a punch. So
For sure.
without further ado, I think it is time
Mhm.
for you to give us your 30-second elevator pitch so everybody can get a rundown of kind of who you are. I mean, I hope they listened to your episode, A Queer Vision, from season 3, episode 4. But if not, let's just let everybody know at home who you are. Are you ready, Teak?
Yeah, let's do it.
And don't worry, I won't cut you off. If you go 2 minutes, it happens. It happens. We're not mean over here.
Not
I
at
Okay.
all.
appreciate it. I
You want me to do
appreciate
the
it.
countdown?
Okay. Yeah, you want to
Okay.
do on your mark? Go ahead.
Okay. On your mark. Get set. Action.
All right. So I am Tiq Milan. I am a father. I'm an advocate. I'm transgender. I'm Black. Clearly, I'm also a Cancer. I live in Brooklyn, New York. Why am I here? What do? I talk a lot about gender. I talk about creating organic modes of masculinity. I talk about what it means to heal and what it means to be a fully developed human gendered person in the world. And I also talk about what the gender experience is and what that looks like, the intersections of race and sexuality and different identities. And I like puppies.
My God, that was
Boom.
fantastic.
Do you see how much
Wow.
you're
Wow.
good?
Damn.
And I have to tell you something at home. Teak didn't remember about this elevator pitch, and Teak just did that on the spot, and you packed a
Freestyle.
punch.
I'm blown away.
Freestyle.
I'm completely blown
Freestyle.
away.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Thanks.
So
And you're
wow.
a Cancer. I don't mean to just pull that out, but I think astrological
That's
signs are
important.
really important. And
I do too.
is like the best sign.
Thank you.
I
What's your
just
sign?
happen to be a Cancer. I'm a Cancer.
Oh.
Okay, clearly.
Of course.
Okay, I thought so.
What's your birthday?
July 14th.
July 8th. You're a real Cancer.
I'm a real Cancer, like in the middle, summer baby, in the middle, cry baby. Just
Oh,
don't hurt my little feelings, Cancer.
I know. How do you manage? Because it's rough out there for us.
Therapy.
Okay.
Ciao. It's
Absolutely.
hard out here for a Cancer.
I'm
It
not gonna lie,
is.
guys. I don't know that much about cancers.
What's your sign,
I guess
Amy?
I'm Sagittarius.
Mm.
And according to
Okay,
E,
Teak, I saw that
we're
response.
supposed to get along.
Well, I get along really great with Sages because of my rising. As long as I don't sleep with them. That's been my
And we're not gonna do that,
and
E.
we're not gonna do that. So we're good.
We are
so
both-
then Sages are my best friends once we clear that air. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Sagittarius too. I don't know if I've slept with any Sagittarius. I might have. I don't know. But I don't know what that says about me. But whatever. I don't
What's
know.
your sign? What's your connecting sign?
Who am I connecting to?
Yeah, like they always say that Pisces might be our like best sign. I don't think that's been accurate for me. My wife is a Capricorn.
I like Pisces. I like Pisces, I like Taurus. Says
I don't know my connecting sign. I know I'm a double Sag, and then there's a Pisces
Sag.
somewhere in there, rising or
Oh.
falling or whatever they say. I don't know.
interesting. Okay.
I don't
What's
know.
Anne?
Aquarius.
That's a good combination.
Yeah, well, my best friend, who's still my best friend since we were in second grade, is an Aquarius as well. So yeah, I think I do well with
Interesting.
Aquarians. But I think I'm
Nice.
gonna do really well with Cancers too, guys.
I think so. I think it's in the cards. Absolutely. I will. I'll report on our horoscope every
I love
episode.
it.
No.
I love
Oh
that.
my God. All right. So let's get into your story a little bit, Teak, because the
Yeah.
last time you were with us, you and your wife had just
Mhm.
had your baby daughter. And you
Yep.
talked a lot
Yep.
about, parenting and
Yeah.
how you planned on parenting her. And
Yeah.
so give us a rundown of how where your life is right now. How's it all going?
Yeah. Things are well. My daughter's 4 now. She's 4.
Congratulations.
She is in karate class in gymnastics,
There
and
you go.
she is obsessed with pterodactyls. She's sassy.
We
She's
love it.
defiant, little sassy little person. Um, Sometimes it's completely intolerable, but I love her so much. I love her so much.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
so she's amazing. I'm divorced.
Oh,
Um, yep, me and we got a divorce. I moved
I'm
back to New York
sorry
City.
to hear. I
No,
know that's hard.
it's
Whether it's good or bad, it's
it's
still hard.
yeah, I'm
it was
sorry.
hard. Yeah, it was hard. It was rough. It was a rough. It wasn't divorce. The divorce was fine. It was just the custody, like going back and forth in court. The custody. I was
Oh,
living in Toronto, so we had to go through court in Ontario, which was to my advantage because Toronto courts are pretty liberal and they don't play that shit when it comes to trans people and trans parents.
Right.
So so I had a really good team of people on my side, but that was like a 2-year thing, just trying to work out what our situation was going to look like. So it got ugly for a second, but we're all right now. Like she and we're co-parenting. She's her and my daughter are in Texas now, so they're down in
oh,
Dallas.
wow.
I'm here. Yeah, they left Toronto. She's there, so I'll go back and forth to see my daughter. I talk to her every day. So there's that. So I came back to New York. Career's thriving.
Wow. Yes, it is.
Um, I've had some great relationships, and then I've been living in New York for 20 years. I just took a
Right.
break when I was married and moved to Toronto for like 2 years. So it's just nice. It was really nice just to come back home.
Yeah, well,
So
I
it's
remember when you were in Toronto. You were in Toronto when we interviewed you. I mean,
mhm.
you were actually in New York with us when we
Yeah,
interviewed you,
yeah,
but you were living in Toronto, and it was during when Trump was president. So we were
yeah.
all very jealous that you were in Toronto.
No, that was a part of the reason that we left. Because
Yeah,
when Kim and I were married, she was like, "Your country has lost its mind." When they elected Trump, and she was like, "We're leaving," and we left.
yeah,
He was elected in November. We were out in January.
yeah,
Wow.
In
yeah. You
January.
actually
Yep.
did it. I've talked
Yeah,
about doing that a
I
lot,
know.
but
I
I
talked
didn't
about
actually
it.
do it.
Everybody talked about it, but nobody bought a ticket. Congratulations for actually
yeah,
getting
Yeah,
out of here.
yeah. I sold all my stuff and we bounced.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but she's Canadian too, so that helped.
But now you guys got divorced
Hmm.
and went through all the custody stuff, and
Yep.
now she's in Texas and you're in New
She's in
York.
Texas. Yep. She's in Texas and I'm in New York. And it works. I, FaceTime with my kid every day. Let me tell you, technology. So we have iPhones. So we could
Hmm.
do like those memojis, when you can
Yeah.
like put on a face on your face and it
Hmm.
moves with you. And
Yes.
she calls it doing battle. So she'll be the unicorn and I'll be the dragon. And people are like, oh, okay, now we're gonna do battle. And I found out I can like put stickers on it, and I can make you can do your fingers like up and down. You make the image bigger or smaller, and so I make it like I'm throwing these like little stickers at her on a thing.
Oh, I
So
didn't know
we
you
have
could
this
do that.
whole thing where we really have a lot of fun because that's like our main mode of communication is FaceTime. So I try to make it as
That's
interactive as
cool.
I can until I can see her in person. And I go see her all the time. And then I'm going to have her this summer. So
Oh, the whole summer.
no, not the whole 6 weeks. I get her
But
six
that's a
weeks
long
every summer.
time.
That's a long
That's
time.
exciting.
Half the
That's
summer.
fun. Yeah, that's great.
Yes.
Yeah, and daddy's like in a video game for her. So
Yeah,
it's
she
like
loves it.
it's so
She's
cool.
like, be the dragon. Let's do battle. Um,
My daughter loves to do those memoji thingies too. My mom is going to be like, "Ooh, you have to ask Teak how he does that," because she FaceTimes with my mom and she's always putting like a cat on her face and my
Yeah.
mother's like, "I don't know what to do with that. Rose, can you please just come back to your face?" Like,
Rose, can you come back to your face?
I mean, I'm listening to you and I'm like, oh, they move? You can make them bigger and smaller?
well, that's
Yeah.
because
Okay.
yeah, because E has a teen, like he's a teenager now, right? Your
I
son?
mean, he talks like a teen. He's 11.
He's 11. Okay.
He's 11 and it's slightly shifting. This morning I went in the room and I have a good morning song. Good morning to you. The sun is up, and so are you. And I'm ready to sing and do my little like number. And he really had like stank face and went, "Ma, I'm trying to get dressed." And I was just like, "Oh, okay." And I just backed out of the room. So I don't know what he's going through right now. Like I've never
Oh.
seen his body. I don't know what's happening. It's just I backed out slowly and made breakfast.
It's a whole thing. My kids tell me to stop singing all the time, and I'm a professional singer, so that's not okay. That is not okay.
Okay. It's not okay at all.
It's not okay.
It's
Stop
not okay.
singing. Stop. Ugh.
Yep.
I
Jamie,
My
how
son
old are
take
your kids, Jamie?
8 and 4. My daughter's 8. My son
8
is
and 4.
4.
Wow.
So
it gets worse. You know that slogan, it gets better. It gets worse.
it's just every stage is a stage. Every stage is
It
a
is.
stage.
Yeah.
But
Poor
It's
Philly.
just
can you
surprising.
T, can you remind our listeners and let E know? I know actually I think E listened to your episode already, so she knows, and
Mhm.
some listeners at home might know too. But
Mhm.
how did you make your daughter? That sounds so weird, but like
Oh
in the
God.
LGBTQ baby making world, that's a question. How did it come about?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how much I talked about that in the episode.
I remember, well, I do remember that you have a beautiful quote in our book where you said something about who my baby's donor is doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me, and I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it right. So
Yeah.
you say it.
So okay, so I'm just gonna say this. It was complicated.
Mm,
It was complicated. It was complicated. It was complicated. We have a known donor. It was complicated.
yes.
It was complicated, but it's
Mhm.
done.
Mhm.
And there's still like some hiccups here and there that having to deal with, and boundaries and all these kinds of things. It's just I just want to say this, that I have fought very hard to be my child's father. I have fought very, very hard. And I think that as a trans person, there is, as a trans person, particularly as a trans man, well, I'm kind of putting my fatherhood in the hands of cis folks who are making my baby.
Mhm.
Okay, it's my baby. I've chosen not to carry. I've chosen not to biologically, give my genetics to a child, right? I've chosen that because that's just not a part of my journey as a man. There's some men who do, who they may freeze eggs. You have some men who carry. I'm just not that guy, right? So that's a sacrifice I make. So which means that my fatherhood is really intentional, and it's also really integrated with the trust of other people, right? So it's like, a cis man could go out and make a baby. He can go and make 3 babies a day if he
Mhm.
wants to.
Sure could.
I fucking can't.
Right.
I can't, right? So I've had to work really hard. I've had to put a lot of trust in a lot of places. I've had lots of disappointments, but I'm here and we made it through. So my advice, if there are any trans people or gestating parents, okay, I don't know if that's the word. My advice to you, if you are listening, get all your ducks in a row. Make sure you get all your everything legally situated, solidified, modified, fried, dyed, and laid to the side. Okay, just make sure you get all your shit in order and make sure you're on your child's birth certificate.
I absolutely couldn't agree with
Yes.
you more. As the non-bio parent of my son, the best move I ever made was making sure that we had our second parent adoption.
That's right.
That was in place.
Yeah. Whatever it is that you have to do to make sure that you are legally connected to that child, that you are legally responsible for that child, do it. Do it all.
Well,
Do it all, because you never know.
Well, that's because we talked about this with E's story. E went through a divorce as well, and E. I mean, I don't want to speak for E, but you said I'm going to speak for you, and then you can fix what I said. But like,
Okay, go ahead.
You said in your episode, advice to folks who are married: look at what your divorce is going to talk
Oh,
about, what your
oh yeah,
divorce
that's
will
my,
look like. Get
got you.
everything in line,
Yeah, put
and
yeah.
and because we don't know, right? And I'll put the ball in your court there, and you can
Well,
explain it
yeah.
better. But
My big mission in life is to what does the divorce look like? I know we're excited and happy. We're about to jump the broom, get married, but what did really walking through the steps? Because my ex-wife and I, we could have figured a lot of shit out if we planned for our divorce. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard. And you spoke a little bit about not we didn't make biologically our children,
Mm.
and there was was there a desire in you too? And I only asked that question because I've had that desire with my current wife. I obviously had it with my last wife, and
Mm.
I hear that it's something that happens, this almost physical desire to make life with your wife or your
Yeah.
lover, if I'm saying that correctly,
Yeah.
even though it
I,
can't quote unquote happen the heterosexual normative way,
yeah.
the impulses are exactly the same.
I mean, maybe I don't know. I never. I mean, I knew as a trans person, I knew I never wanted to carry a kid. I knew that this was
Right.
nothing I ever wanted to do. And I wasn't really, and like making sure that my genetics were passed on and freezing my eggs and having to put my body through all of that to make that happen. That sacrifice was just too much for me to have that kind of like genetic biological relationship or realization. So no, so it wasn't that important to me, but it was important to have a family. It was important to have a family, and I put a lot of trust in that. And I wanted to say something. I think, listen, you can plan your divorce all you want, but one thing I've learned is that the person you marry is not the person you divorce. So you can talk
Woo!
all that
oh,
shit you talk during your
Wait,
marriage.
that was
wait,
deep.
Teak. You can't just drop that big one on us
That was
and go fast on. Can you say that again, please?
that was
The
deep.
person you marry is not the person you divorce.
I I think that's the name of the episode.
Oh, that's
Because
good. The
that
person,
was that is the amen truth.
yes.
And that's the realization. So we can plan our divorce all we want, but when we get to that
Mm,
point, it's like we are different people now.
mm.
It's a whole new game now. It's different.
Wow. I mean, and as someone who's going through a breakup on my podcast, that resonates with me as well.
Yeah. When the nature of your relationship changes, people change.
Mm,
It is what it is. And it's like being ready for that change, like being ready for the uncertainty that change brings. Like, how do
mhm,
you prepare yourself for what's uncertain?
And
mm.
And I think
how are you
from,
ready for what you can't be ready for? Right.
yeah. And for me, there was so many uncertain things, so many things have happened that I never thought would have happened, with people I never thought they would happen with. There was so much uncertainty that at a point I had to let it go. I had to just let go of the things that I couldn't control and the things that weren't certain and really focus on the things that were certain for me
Mm.
and create some certainty in my life to get through a really like hard time, So
Yeah, you
yeah.
said you alluded to the fact that things got messy, and I think you were.
Yeah.
Did they get messy with your donor?
Yeah. Things got messy.
Can you go into that, or is that something you can't talk about?
I guess I could. I
It's
guess
up
I
to
could.
you. No, don't say anything you don't
I'm
feel
just trying
comfortable
because I
talking about.
haven't. Yeah, I haven't really got into like our whole story of just how everything went down, but I know who the donor is.
Hmm.
He and I've never met in person. I've tried to connect with this man, but it just doesn't happen. Yeah, he got involved with the court thing, and it was a mess. I mean, but the courts weren't trying to hear it because he hasn't been around. I've raised her, like I
Right.
raised her. He kind of swooped in and was trying to um create a bunch of chaos for me. And my ex wasn't very helpful. It was a
Oh.
lot. It was a lot. Let me tell you, just
Wow.
anything that you think thought happened did happen. Let's just put it
Oh
like that.
wow.
Okay.
Did
You know what
you
I'm
have
saying? Let's just put it like that.
did you have a legal setup as you went into this?
I had a
As
team of lawyers. I had a team
I
of
mean
attorneys.
before uh, in the donation process, like a legal setup for how this was going to roll out.
Did you write it all out?
I had a good friend of mine who's a trans guy and is an attorney. He sent me the a donor agreement that he used for his kid.
Mm.
And so I just took it and then just like plugged in the pertinent information. I signed it, donor signed it. It got X signed it. It got notarized. I saw it. And at the time I was married, my wife at the time, she kind of handled, she's the one who took care of all the records and the paperwork. So that was like her responsibility in our relationship. And then when we divorced, no one mysteriously could find the agreement.
Oh no.
Wow.
Oh shit. And were you on the birth certificate? You were on the birth certificate.
I
right?
am on the birth certificate.
Oh, thank God.
That's it. I've been on the birth certificate. Then I can prove. And not only that, but you also, even if I wasn't on the birth certificate, and you can prove that you have been in the child's life since the beginning. But that, of course, can also err on your side as well. But I'm on the birth certificate. My daughter has my name. She has my mother's name is her middle name. And I've been, and I had to like just show proof, like thousands of photos, just photos and videos. Like I was there when she was born. I caught her.
You didn't create her in the traditional sense, but you created this child with your ex-wife.
Yeah. Right. And I made sure I paid child support, even though I wasn't put on child support by courts, even though my ex wasn't necessarily asking for it. I paid child support, and I paid more than I was supposed to pay. Right. Even then when I didn't have to. But my lawyer was like, you do that because this is also how you establish parenthood, your responsibility.
I think this right here is your next post. Men who handled their child support before they have to is the new sexy as well.
Yeah.
That kind of talk
for your
is
kid.
Amazing.
And it blows my mind how so many guys don't want to pay child support. It's just like, this is supporting your kid. It's so that your child can have a semblance of a 2-parent home. So if I can't be there physically, let me be there financially. So it's like, yeah, I take care of my child. I'm also taking care of my ex-wife, no matter what our relationship is or has been or how painful things have happened. You are my child's primary parent. You are her protector. You are her educator. So yeah, if you're doing good, then she's doing good. So yeah, I'm gonna take care of both of y'all. I think that's my duty.
Yeah, but I also think I recently got sued by my ex-wife for child support, which didn't happen. But that feeling when I got sued was, why she want my money? I do all these things for this kid, and I had this moment of, oh, this is how it must feel to men. Because it's predominantly what I've heard, that men pay child support. It's not often from the mother's point of view. Yeah. And just the whole getting sued, like thinking this could happen, was so insulting, considering the contribution of everything to my kid. Yeah. Like we took that brother to Mexico and stayed, beautifully. Right. And he takes classes and he has everything, and it's just.
Yeah. And see, and that's the thing, you go to court and sometimes people do that. Well, want to go through the system as a way of kind of like being vindictive, but particularly when it comes to like the child support thing, and you're already doing all this, and then you go to the courts and the courts say, actually, you're doing too much. We're going to shrink this down.
And that looks good, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what happened with me. The courts are like, oh, okay, you're not going to be paying that much anymore. And they switched everything up, and yeah, people were shocked, and I was like, you know what? But I still do what I think is necessary to make sure that my daughter is okay, no matter what that looks like. So, but yeah, it's been a long, hard road.
If that means being a video game, you're gonna be a video game.
That's right. If I gotta dress up like a dragon and put on my weird dragon voice, I'm gonna do it. Whatever.
I feel like you should be, now you have a voiceover career coming at you, because I think you could really voice a good dragon in an animated show. You need to get on that. You need to contact your agents.
You know what? Listen, I'm always looking for a new project, a new revenue stream. Yeah. Why not?
I mean, isn't that it? Why not? And we could join you if you need voiceover actors. Wink, wink.
I love it.
We do that. We do that.
You're the dragon. I would want to be a character.
Okay.
Could I be like
that? You could be, I don't know.
Could I be the unicorn without a horn?
Oh, that's
a unicorn without a horn?
Yeah, so I still fly. That's why.
That's right. Unicorns have wings. That's right. Yeah. I love it.
I just don't like that horn. It just messes up the face, I feel like.
I was taking it to a sad place, like, oh, I lost my horn. I'm an Eeyore unicorn.
Eeyore, sad ass unicorn.
But that doesn't fit you because you're not sad. I'll just be a little star that bounces around.
Be like a little starfish. just bouncing in the background.
I actually did play a starfish in a cartoon at one point. So there you go.
Are you serious?
Of course I did. Of course I did.
Oh,
um,
So
but
are you happy to be back in New York?
I am. I love this city so much. You know,
Why?
I've been here for 20 years.
same.
That's a good question. I've been here for
Please
20
tell me.
years.
I'm a New Jerseyan, so I don't understand the love. Help me
Jersey.
out.
Oh, Jersey.
New
Oh my
York.
God, let me not be mean.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, New York
Let's get
only
back to
exists because of New Jersey. By the
uh-oh.
way.
I
But
don't
please
know.
continue.
I don't know. New York seeps into your bone. I am a San Franciscan, but
It's
New York
because of Jersey.
seeps into
It
you.
seeps into your, it gets into you. There's something about the energy here. I moved here when I was 22, I'm 42 now. I've been all this time, and this kind of shaped my whole like adult life. And just the memories I have here. When I first moved here, I was a bartender at Crazy Nannies, which was like the only
Yes.
all black lesbian bar that was owned by Elaine, who was just like fly ass butch Jewish woman who just passed away. God rest her soul.
Oh,
Oh,
Elaine was really
rest in
cool.
power.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Elaine just died. Yep, she just died. Like
Oh man.
maybe like a couple months ago. But anyway, let me tell you how I got the job. I was just pounding the pavement in New York City looking for work. This is pre-Tiq. This is before I transitioned. I had like long locks, and I was like this cute little butch, you know. So I walk into Crazy Nannies. I'm like, hi, excuse me, I just moved here for graduate school. I'm looking for a job. And the bartender was like, well, you're in luck because the manager's at the end of the bar. So I see Elaine there. She has like this pile of papers in front of her. So I'll go up to her and I'm like, hey, my name is Tiq. I'm giving her my whole spiel. She's just in her, she's not paying attention. She looks up at me and she says, oh, you're cute. Can you sing? And I was like, a little bit. I love karaoke. And she was like, great. She hired me on the spot. She hired me on the spot because she liked how I looked. And I said that I could sing and sling drinks at the same time. So that's how I got introduced into like the New York City LGBTQ scene as being a bartender. And I started tending bar at so many different places all over the city. And I just made so many friends and made so many memories. That's just something that there's a sentiment in the city that I have a lot of love here. And then I've worked so hard to make it here and to make something of my career. And I just have like glimpses of what that took and what that felt like just all around me, you know, in the city. So it's just something about it. I just owe a lot to being here. It's really shaped me in a very, very real way. You know, it's just great. I mean, the rent is too damn high and like whatever.
So every drink is way too expensive, but actually you don't drink anymore though.
Who, me?
Yeah, aren't you sober?
No.
Oh, good. I'm so happy.
And that's what we do here.
No.
If he's over, he can talk.
I thought that I saw a post. Oh my God, Tiq.
No,
I thought I saw a post where you were like, I got sober, and I was like, oh man, I want to have a drink.
In this book. You saw me post in this book.
I'm sober curious. Yeah, I'm sober curious.
I'm sober curious too. So I was just like, this is a great book. No, I'm going drinking tonight.
Okay, Tiq. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nobody needs to know that, but yeah,
Did
the
you take
drinks.
a pause? Is this like? I don't know. I just know a lot of people right now who are coming to this turning point in the pandemic and looking at drinking like, I've been doing a lot of that recently. Okay, maybe I know people, but maybe it's also me. And I wonder if I'm not the only one. Like,
oh, it's all of us. All of us drank way too much during the pandemic, and we're trying to scale it back, and we are working on that.
That is hard. Yeah. Is it harder than it seemed like it would be for some people?
Because you know why? Because I'm going to tell you why. This pandemic won't freaking stop.
Fuck.
Yeah, so, what's going on? Are we in it? Are we not?
Oh my God.
I don't know. It's weird. I drank a lot over the pandemic. I was just having, I had never really had bottles in the house until the pandemic started. And I was I'm like, there's a bottle of whiskey, there's a bottle of tequila. Like, I am drinking.
And I felt such a wholesome show.
Okay, as well. But then another thing is that I enjoy drinking. I do, but I just don't bounce back the way I used to. No. And that's the part that's the part that doesn't feel good anymore. It's like I used to be able to drink all night and go out, and the next day be a little hungover, have a cheeseburger and fries, and let's do it again.
Not anymore.
Now I need like 2 days.
I know.
To
seriously.
So it's like I get drunker faster and hangovers last longer.
Oh my
God. I'm like, that's what I don't like. So I'm just like, how can I get some? I still want to enjoy a drink here and there, but I don't want this after part of it. Like that part sucks.
You know what this is called? This is called adulting.
Is that what
And
that is?
finally, now in our 40s, we are starting to truly adult.
Damn it.
My body is like,
I don't like it very much.
What are you doing? Why'd you have those 3 glasses of wine last night? Like I woke up the other morning. I was like, babe, I am hung over. And she was like, but you didn't even drink. Because I had like 3 glasses, which is like my norm.
right.
I'm sorry, mom. Don't get upset, mom. But like she's always like, you're drinking too much. But I'm not. I'm keeping it good. But anyway.
And
I was hungover.
American has 1 drink a night. So you know what I mean? Like that's what Google says. And as long as you're listening to Google
right,
and following that, you're fine.
You
and
go.
If 1 drink is actually 3 drinks altogether.
And that was over the course of like 6 hours. So there is no reason that I should have been hungover. Anyway, we digress. Let's get back
how we got
to
here.
Let's get to the point, to the reason. Well, that's not the only one of the reasons why I asked you to come back and speak, because here's what happened. When Robin told me that she was going to leave Ovaries, I had some moments of freak out. Like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this on my own? I want to keep this going. I never imagined this as a solo project. I always wanted somebody by my side doing it with me. And I started thinking a lot about, well, what is that going to look like now that Robin's gone? And I reached out to Tiq and said, can I speak with you, Tiq? Because I'm really having all of these big ideas, and I want to speak to somebody who comes from the point of view of a different point of view than me. Because my whole thing was, I have always felt a little bit, I already told the listeners this, but I've always felt a little bit of unease at the fact that Robin and I were 2 cis white lesbians leading the charge. We didn't have representation at the helm, inclusion at the helm, like we could have, like we should have. And so that's when I reached out to Tiq, and I wanted to talk with Tiq about my ideas about trying to bring some more inclusion to the host table and kind of diversify a bit. So I had a really amazing conversation with Tiq about it. And I asked Tiq to come on and speak about it for our listeners as well. And for E too, because E wasn't there for that conversation. So
yeah.
Do you want to jump in there? It's not a question. I didn't even ask you a question, but
yeah, just recap our conversation. Right. So yeah, so you asked me about like coming on board, and I love the podcast, love you. But my whole thing was like, I don't know. And it was a couple of reasons. First, I just don't know how comfortable I would be just as a man, just with a show called like Ovaries.
Right.
Ovaries could talk, right? I felt like that for me, that just felt a little, because I don't want to start to, the whole thing about, a part of the conversation about being a trans person is trying to make people understand that we want to make a disconnect between the body and the gender, right? So I thought that was, like, for me as a trans man, co-hosting a show, if these ovaries can talk, I think will start to bring people back into my body in a way that's not going to feel good. People are going to start to make connection with my identity with this body, and that's not necessarily what I want. The idea here is like my presence and the presence of trans people is for people to start thinking differently about what gender is, and not essentializing it to body parts or reproductive parts. So I thought that could be kind of confusing. I think that was a big thing. And then also, I don't know if I had taken up a lot of space kind of in this conversation. I don't know if that didn't feel good for me either. So I think that was my biggest thing, just like how to, have these really important conversations, but also still being able to broaden it so that people of different genders who are experiencing parenthood or reproductive stuff, have this conversation in a way that, feels really inclusive. Not to say, I'd say y'all not inclusive, because you are.
Trying to be even more inclusive.
Yeah, for sure. But it was just like, for me, it just felt like it just wasn't in alignment.
Right. Totally. But I really appreciated what you had to say. And when I met E was a great fit as well. And I was like, this is so exciting. E and I get along really well, and it's working out great. And E, and I brought up the whole idea of the name to E, like, does this make you uncomfortable? Because E, non-binary. I keep out telling you guys what you're gonna say.
It's okay.
So
It's
like,
okay.
but how do you feel about the name if these ovaries could talk?
It doesn't bother me. I tried to get pregnant several times and it didn't. It's a part of my journey.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in there. They're not going to be used this lifetime, but hopefully they'll stay healthy. And when I can get them safely removed,
Yeah.
whew, child, I'll be happy about it. But it doesn't bother me because I'm understanding my journey different
Mm.
in the
Yeah.
trans world. I'm still
Yeah.
trans. I still consider myself in the trans world, but I'm on a very
Mhm.
different journey with it. And that's hard because I wish it was more the mainstream journey.
Mhm.
But it's all, I think we're all, trying to figure out who we are. And I'm just understanding language in a way that in 92 when I came out bisexual, or 99 as lesbian, 2008 as like, I think I found the word queer, and now non-gender conforming. It's just this constant reinvention
Yeah.
and deeper understanding. I'm so happy there are words besides girl and boy, for Christ's
Yeah.
Mm.
sake.
Mm-hmm.
That's the happy, I do happy dances about it. So it's evolving. That's why I'm
Yeah.
really patient, with people and the change after 47 years.
Yeah. And I think that's an important point, just like the evolution of the language, the evolution, and this the evolution that people are on. I think this, I think the idea, trans people and queer people, I really think that we are a blueprint for other folks to start to have an understanding that they have control, excuse me, over their gender journey. No matter, they can a cisgender person has a journey of gender, straight person has a journey of gender. But I think oftentimes we think this idea of actually being in control of it and being self-determined is something that only belongs to queer and trans people, and it does it. And I think if it belonged to more cis people and to more heterosexual people, actually the world would be a better place because they won't be so damn fucking insufferable and repressed,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So it's like they would make the world so much better. And I'm saying all that to say this, as keep, if these ovaries can talk, there's going to be a revolving kind of evolution of audiences, of listeners. There's going to be trans men who say, yeah, that I identify with my ovaries because I've carried a child, or I'm this, or non-binary. So I think there are people across the spectrum who can identify with the title of this podcast, but still not feel that it's essentializing their gender. I think I'm just talking like for me
Mm-hmm.
as a masculine binary man who has dysphoria around bodies. I'm different. I'm different. But I think that it's important to just, I don't know that there's an evolution that's always happening with people and language. Um, it's just
Yeah.
just kind of
I, but and the thing is, we're all different. We're all so
yeah,
very different. That's the beautiful of our community, especially. But yes, you're right. Like this should go for every person. We're
every
all a
person.
beautiful rainbow of people and
Mhm.
genders, and no two
Yeah,
people are the
and for
same. We're
some people it's
so
going to fit. Yeah, some people's going to fit, some people's not, and that's okay.
yeah,
I
and
think.
yeah, and when Robin and I started this podcast, the language was not there. It was such a different world than it is now.
And that
More
was only
things
four
have
years ago, right?
I
4 or 5
know
years ago.
So
more
much.
language has been unearthed. More things have been brought to light. And it's important that, especially a show like this that is trying to do the work of telling the stories of our community's families,
Mhm.
includes it all. So
Yeah.
um, in a way, this is kind of like a really nice metamorphosis of where this show is going to go. But I don't want to
Mhm.
do it alone, and I can't do it alone because I only come at this with my cisgendered white
Yeah.
lesbian perception,
Yeah. Yeah.
perspective. Um,
Yeah.
so that's why these conversations, though they can be difficult, are so important, and
Important.
it's important for us to have them out in public so that others feel empowered enough to have them
Yeah.
themselves in their personal life, because we all
That's
need to be
right.
having these conversations.
Yeah. The difficult conversations are the most important conversations, I think,
Right.
because when you have to be courageous enough to be vulnerable enough to say, I want to have this conversation because I want to be different, or I want to change, or I want to expand.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think the other side of vulnerability is courage. And we need that courage in order to affect some type of change. And I think that's what you're doing. You're stepping into this place. I'm a little vulnerable. I don't want to do this by myself. I only have a limited perspective, but I'm being courageous enough to say I want to be an agent of change in this way with the resources that I have. So that's great. Like, do your fucking thing, girl. I'm just cussing. Can I curse on this podcast? Is this like rated G?
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
I don't think I could do anything PG. I don't think I could co-sign to that.
You know what? Tiq, I just realized you don't have headphones in, do you? Oh God.
No.
What does that mean?
It just means that your audio might have our voices in it, which I think my editor can deal with it. But do you have headphones you can put in right now?
I do. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, I just realized. Oh my God, it should be fine.
Okay,
should be fine.
It's okay.
That's my fault. I didn't see it.
Can I tell you, I love Tiq's beard. Oh,
I didn't even notice. I didn't see it.
Beautiful.
I didn't even see.
You know my beard situation, right?
I do know. I know, E.
And I'm sitting here like, oh.
They have like, can't you take stuff to, like, I mean, besides tea, like, don't they have like supplements?
Let me just find my headphones. 1 second.
Yeah. Take your time.
I don't trust my family's genetics, though. I don't think that any of the men in my family have full beards.
I know.
So I just don't want to go through that. I just want the beard part. I don't want all the other things.
Yeah, I understand. That. Listen, I mean, I can't say. Yeah, this is just us. I'm gonna tell the editor. I don't know I can't find my timestamp though. So, where are we at? We are at about 41 minutes. Tell me if there.
Tiq, I was saying that I love your facial hair. I love your beard. It just is, it's gorgeous. I was 2 steps from T, and it was because I wanted a full beard. Like, it's been my dream. And I get those apps and I see it and I think I'm the most delicious looking human. And then
you're muted, Tiq. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then I talked to a doctor, I talked to some friends, and they said you do have to look at your genetics. It's a familial kind of thing. So I started looking around at the men in my family, and they all got holes. They can't grow a full beard. My one cousin got like a tuft of hair that'll grow here, and nothing. They just have really smooth skin. And I'm like, if I go through all this and I don't get the one thing I want more than anything, I'm going to be brokenhearted. So my wife suggested that I get one made, like a really nice beard.
You could.
Made.
You totally could.
Are there any beard I can't even say beard wig makers out there? That anybody in the audience, studio audience, America, let us know.
Yo, they're out there. They're definitely out there. They're out there. I wish my beard connected. It doesn't. It kind of fades as it goes.
You can't tell though. It just looks like a beard. So,
and it just.
But that's okay.
It frames so well, and yes.
It took a while for me. I've been on T now for 15 years, and my full beard just started coming in maybe about 4 years ago.
Wait, so it
took a long time.
Either? It's not like a quick.
It takes years. It's kind of it's like a puberty. So if you took a cis guy, as a teenager, it's going to take him a while before his whole beard goes. He's not going to have a full beard at 16, but he may at 26.
I think if I had been a cis boy, I would have a full beard at 12. I'm that hairy. And I don't want that. That's not my journey. I don't want facial hair.
I have students who are 12 that have full facial hair.
Yeah, right. That would have been me.
No joke.
And a full chest of hair too. It would be everywhere. It'd probably be on my back too. I don't want it.
Oh wow.
I don't want any of it.
And see, all I want is all the hair. All the hair.
All of it.
It's
I think it's the greatest thing. Like, I don't have any on my arms. Like, everybody has hair on their arms.
So jealous.
Yeah. I'm not really hairy either. My mother was hairless. My mother didn't have any hair on her. She didn't grow hair on her legs, on her arms. Lucky. My dad has no hair on his legs. On his arm. He got like a little thing here. I wish I was a little bit more hairy, but I'm not. So you know what? I take what I get.
We get what we get, and we don't get upset unless we make changes, and we can, and that's what we're learning. In our community.
Exactly.
We can be who we want to be. We're going for that. But I want to talk about, because because I have really been, and then we're gonna wrap this up because I know we're keeping you forever, Teak. But like I have really been thinking hard about, do we change the name? Do we switch it up to make everyone feel more included? And I don't know if that's necessary. I don't know
I
if it
don't,
is.
I don't think it is. I think you've already established your audience and your brand. You're kind of on the roll. I think it may not work for me. It may not work for some people, but I think it works for a lot of people across the spectrum of gender. I do.
Yeah, I'd love
You
to see.
know,
Yeah,
everybody came from an ovary
it's
somehow,
true.
some
everybody
way.
came
An
from an
ovary
ovary.
It is
Whether they,
true.
somehow,
I
whether it
mean,
was harvested, whether it was direct link, or
whether it was in a
Direct link.
man.
That's the new term. Direct link. Whether it was in a man. This is the beauty. This
yeah,
is the beauty of our family. Whether that ovary came from a man, it doesn't matter.
whether it
We
was
all
somebody
came
else's
from one.
ovary.
And
We
if
all
I
came from an
change the
ovary.
name, if we change the name, then I can't say these ovaries anymore. Like, oh, my
Yeah.
ovaries love you. And I love doing
Or these ovaries are tired.
these ovaries are so tired.
Are old
These-
and tired.
Oh, they're old and scraggly and tired.
Tried,
Oh,
fried, and
scraggly.
died. Honeybees.
Frog died and laid to the side.
Side. Hello.
Oh God.
But just so everybody knows that this is the Queer Families podcast, and that's what I'm gonna
Yeah.
start adding to it every time I say,
That's nice.
if these ovaries
Yeah,
could
there you
talk,
go.
the Queer Families podcast, because this podcast is for all of us, and I
Yeah.
want everybody to feel included and a part, and that you're welcome. We're all welcome here.
Yeah,
That's
I love
brilliant.
that.
You just came up with it. The Queer Families
Boom.
podcast.
The Queer Families podcast.
Yes,
Like that's gonna be like if these ovaries could talk. The Queer
the
Families
Queer
podcast.
Families podcast. It's a very long title.
They have a show on Netflix called "The Lady Who Sits in the Window Across the Street from the Lady Who
That's
Sits
true.
on the Door," whatever the fuck that is. So
You-
if
and you
they
know
can
what?
do
This-
that,
and-
we can do.
Yeah, they did too much. This is why everybody's leaving Netflix because y'all did too much.
They did too much.
They did too, it was that title. See, I don't want that to happen to ovaries.
And how did that happen? What was that executive conversation?
I
Well,
don't
the
know.
movie is about a lady sitting in the window watching a lady across the street. So, I mean, we could just keep it like that. Okay, let's go. Can I get
That's
my
what-
million?
That's what people are
Brilliant.
going to say about this podcast. But anyway, I just listen. I value what you have to say so much, Teak, and
Thank you.
I'm just honored that you came back to talk to us. And
Yeah, of course.
I also value everything you have to say as well, E. I am feeling so optimistic about where, if these ovaries could talk, the Queer Families podcast is going.
Yeah.
And I'm happy.
Do we have to say it that fast?
You have to just go
If
hard
these
on
families
it.
could talk, the Queer Family podcast. See, I got it fucked
We're
up.
gonna
If these
have to
ovaries could
practice.
talk, the Queer Family.
You're gonna have to
Okay.
practice.
You gotta
ITOCT
practice.
TQFP.
Fuck.
I mean,
do that.
way
we are
too
we
much
are
cannabis
we
for
are
that.
we are such the alphabet mafia stand up. I mean, my God.
But isn't
So-
it all in attempt to not? We're doing so many labels in attempt to make light of the fact that dumb labels are all dumb.
Where
Mhm.
Eventually, because when we get to 26, I mean, what are we gonna do?
Right. All
The
the
alphabet.
all the
crew?
letters. The
All the
alphabet crew.
letters. Yeah.
Mhm. All the
I mean,
letters.
The point is, this is an ever-changing landscape, and it's important to let it all in and include
Yeah.
everyone, right? And
I agree.
Let's lead with love and accept whatever anybody says. Well, accept
Yeah.
who somebody tells you they are,
Yeah.
and then just move forward from there.
Just
right?
move forward. Accept them, celebrate them. People tell you who they are, believe them.
Exactly.
And do your own research, because there's this thing that happened when I was an adult called the internets. And there's this thing called Google. And you can go look stuff up that
Google is your
confuses
friend.
you,
Google,
as
Google can be
opposed
your
to
friend.
expecting people who may be new to you to explain themselves.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
For
Well,
sure.
I absolutely adore both of you, and thank you so much. This was
Same.
really wonderful.
Thanks, Jimmy.
What a wonderful
So
thing you
much
did.
fun. Yes, you too. Let's do it again. I'll come
Yes.
back whenever.
Yes, you
invite me
will.
back.
Yes. Uh-oh, you
Yay.
just started something. Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording here. Don't go anywhere, T. Don't go anywhere.
I stopped
Oh.
my thingy too, right?
Okay, cool. Yes, and I am going to stop